Well, I mean, my bias is always the attachment stuff. That is always my bias. And the thing is, there are more people talking about it now, but I think maybe to marry all these concepts together of my thesis of what I'm currently working through in my personal spiritual life and also what I try to write about is we can talk about attachment, we can talk about gender, we can talk about trauma, we can talk about exploitation, and we can talk about the spiritual God-shaped hole we're having. What marries all these concepts? I think, damn, I just set myself up for failure with that sentence. What marries all these concepts? I think a reverence, a respect between the sexes. I really think that that's what we need to come back to. Because I think a respect between the sexes, respecting our differences, but also our shared humanity, is at the core of the marriage crisis, the dating crisis, the family crisis, attachment trauma, generational trauma. If you have a man and a woman, they're both flawed and they both have issues and triggers and different wounds. And this narrative from culture is coming in like women just, want to control men and they just want a paycheck and they just want to, I could just watch porn instead. I could just jerk off and I could just watch porn. I don't even need to treat women with respect. And also, like, women are beneath me or whatever. And then the culture is saying to women, men are only going to lie to you. Men, are only going to use you for sex. They're useless. They're stupid. You don't need a man. Like, these negative cultural messages are teaching the sexes to hate each other, to hate themselves, and to hate reality. Because the reality is there is a beautiful union that creates life between the sexes. And that ability to create life is through love. And through love, we can have marriage and family. And through love, we have what makes life worthwhile in every possible domain. But if we're saying, no, you cannot respect men or you cannot respect women, how can you possibly respect yourself? You have to integrate the shadow. I guess that's the marriage. Well, that's always what's beneath everything, isn't it? But to marry all of my life is we have to respect the sexes. And that comes from deprogramming from these toxic cultural narratives. And that involves trans, that involves anti-religious concepts. It involves all of this. It's wokeness, right? It's the power play. It's that society, life is predicated on power instead of competency. If you look at men as inherently incompetent or women as inherently incompetent, instead of that there's some men and women that are incompetent and it's more nuanced than that, everything else is going to crumble.